If you want to test out whether your goals are realistic and how you might achieve them, if you want a support moving forward in your life with a foundation of understanding your past, journaling just might be for you. Why are you interested in journaling, or why are you already journaling? Let's roll with that. To record your brilliant ideas, words, thoughts, and inspirations. 2, to serve as a confidant or friend where you can reveal anything, a therapeutic focus, perhaps. 3, leave a legacy like a memoir. Many people write down some of their experiences and their journey for their children and their grandchildren. Some more reasons to journal. 4, document the progress stories of your children or perhaps even your grandchildren. 5, capture key points of learning and lectures that you attend. 6, write prose or poetry that pour out of you, perhaps even a song. 7, collect quotes, jokes, or trivia that you want to hang on to. 8, record your goals of what you want to do, to have, and to be. I used to do that about every 6 months. 9, allow words to come through you like Emmanuel or Neale Donald Walsch, which became 2 books. One was called Emmanuel, written by Emmanuel, and Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. 10, save bits of paper and perhaps love notes. Sketch, doodle, and give form to creative images. 12, keep a grateful record for what you feel grateful. And there might be other reasons. So I'm going to ask you, what's your why? What's your why for journaling? Okay, so people say how to journal. How do you do it? Well, typically a pen and something that some book, journal, log that you like to write in, that gives you pleasure to write in. So you make a journal work for you. It's like you can hand create or create from beginning the kind of friend you want in what's called a journal. So I thought I would throw in here for anybody who is new to journaling the kind of questions that you might ask yourself that you can put in a journal. Here's just a few questions. What is one change I could make to become the best version of myself? What holds me back and how could I change it? This is really asking people to do introspection. What relationship or connection could I improve and how? What is one change I could make to become the best version of myself? What holds me back and how could I change it? What relationship or connection could I improve and how? And what small steps can I take today to move closer to my goals? So asking yourself questions is a very useful way to use a journal. And here are some deeper questions, some deeper ones. So 7-sentence beginnings. And you can answer these once, twice, 100 times. You can answer these kinds of questions every day or every week. I notice the unhelpful belief of. The story I tell myself is, right now I feel. I am learning. I now realize. From now on is the next one. I now accept whatever it is you're going to accept, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change, courage to change what I can, wisdom to know the difference. And from now on, I will. Some declaration of what you will do moving forward that's in your best interest and the best interest of your loved ones. How would you answer this question at the age that you are moved to start writing, that you want a place that's safe for you? You're never too young if you can write and put your words down, or too old to start journaling. I fell in love with Maddie Stepanek when I got introduced to him on the Oprah show, and Oprah was just so sweet with him. and he was in a wheelchair, had a form of muscular dystrophy. His books have sold thousands, if not millions, of copies. And he just pours his heart out because he knew he was going to die at a young age. He died at age 13. Life is an opportunity, take it. Life is a beauty, admire it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a duty, complete it. Life is a game, play it. Life is a promise, fulfill it. Life is sorrow, overcome it. Life is a song, sing it. Life is a struggle, accept it. Life is a tragedy, face it. Life is an adventure, dare it. Life is luck, make it. Life is too precious, do not destroy it. Life is life, respect it. Maddie Stepanek. And he wrote, I don't remember how he wrote, in a journal most days when he was feeling up to it. Just very, very touching. Is it possible to have a kind of structure to make it easier for journaling every day? Now, there have been times in my life where I did journal every day. I don't think it was necessarily about being disciplined. I think it was more that I had a need to, that the support of my journal was crucial for me anyway at that time. And then there have been periods where I have not made entries in journals. Actually, if I've gone to a funeral or a wedding or an event, I might just throw into my journal the program, and then I might go back later and put down my recalls and my experience. If I had a good cry at either the wedding or the funeral, sometimes I'll even cut out an obituary or a picture that captures my imagination and I want to write something about it. So it's just it's a holding place sometimes for me. And again, the question is, how does it serve you? How can I make this process serve me? So yes, if you want some structure, there have been some structures that have been tried out. You're probably, most of you, too young to remember Red Skelton, but he was a very famous comedian on television in the 1960s, 1970s, and he left quite a legacy. He became an artist of clown images in his older age, but he journaled almost every day. And he journaled the biggest surprise that he had every day. Wow, surprise, that surprised me. He journaled a lesson. This is what I learned today. And it kind of sets a mindset for living a full life when you do this. Of course, as a comedian, he tried to find a humorous observation or situation each day and would journal about it. And then, of course, one of the most famous journals or diaries of our history is the Anne Frank diary from age 12 to 15 while she was hiding in the attic. And this is her structure. Apparently was figured out that she had a structure. She would note something of everyday life. She would note anything that she or others were in denial about. Something about hiding in the secret annex, conciliations, and I had to look the word up, and it means a third party calming down conflict. So I don't know whether it was she observing it. It was a long time ago when I read her journal, her diary, or whether she was doing sort of conflict resolution. She recorded the hardships and the musings. Just the musings are wonderings. And here's another structure from Oprah Winfrey, who made gratitude journaling very famous, keeping a gratitude journal. She used to give her audiences very pretty, beautiful journals and talked about how journaling changed her life. And, this quotation from her, 4 years, I've advocated keeping a gratitude journal, writing down 5 things every day that brought pleasure, and gratefulness. So her system is take 10 to 15 minutes each day, write 3 to 5 gratitudes and why you are thankful. Why? What is the result of your life from being grateful, or this thing that's come into your life? What are the nuances of it? How has it changed your life for the better, for what you're grateful? And 4, if you feel comfortable, share your gratitude with others.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on consistently journal? Strategies for developing a daily habit. When it was important for me to do it daily, keeping a journal by your bedside table does the trick, because it is a visual cue or visual reminder. And last but not least, I would say, let yourself off the hook if it's not a daily habit. Perhaps you've integrated what you need to integrate for now, and you just need a break. So you know yourself best. Okay, I'm a night owl, so writing in my journal at night works best for me. But for morning larks, writing, that's when their brain is mostly on fire and functioning best. Probably in the morning is the best time for them to write in their journal. And I do want how to journal with more depth. So this was an interesting question, I thought. And I am assuming, unless you want to correct me, that to journal with more depth means less observations of the outside world and going internally to the internal world. And by the way, I spend a lot of time with people as a therapist going to the internal world. Therapy, basically, a simple definition of therapy is giving structure to your memories, to your impulses, to the sensations in your body, your emotions, feelings, thoughts, and beliefs. Give some kind of sense of where did they come from? Where do they belong? How true are they? What am I going to do? How can I leave them in the past and live in the present moment and make plans for my future rather than being pulled back to the past? So journaling actually can be used as a therapeutic tool. It's a very good tool to augment therapy sessions, and for many people, it is the beginning place for understanding self. So here's an idea that sort of supports that therapeutic journey. And it was developed by Julia Cameron in her book called The Artist's Way. Now, I joined a group. I don't know whether they still exist or not. There used to be Artist Way groups where you'd get together and share what she called pages. And the only rule was that you set aside 15 to 20 minutes and you'd open up a journal and you would write. That was the only rule, write. And if you didn't know what to write, you'd write, I don't know what to write. If you didn't know what you were thinking, you'd say, I don't know what I'm thinking. And you just do this for 15, and it was absolutely fascinating. Some poetry came out of me, some anger came out of me, because if you just stay with it, you kind of go deeper and deeper. So that's one little strategy. Another one is to daily write what you think, feel, and then what behaviors came out of the thinking and the emotions and the behaviors. You see, when we have a thought, it becomes an emotion. Emotion means some energy. That energy most often either gets stifled or it gets transformed into behavior. And if it's a painful or angry energy that comes out, it's often because we had a thought that was painful. And anger is a defense against pain. And then the behavior comes out. So when I was struggling as a mother, a young mother in my 30s, I wrote a lot. about the thoughts I had. I'm a failure as a mother. I'm stupid. I can't do this. And then the feelings of worthlessness, of powerlessness, of weakness, and then images of my dad would come up and I'd feel hurt and shameful. And then I would log about, I screamed at my kids and said, "You kids drive me crazy." And then I look at that, how many times I'd write, "You kids are driving me crazy." I think I'm programming myself to have a mental health issue. So the journal was like a mirror. So you can use, you want to go deeper, the journal actually can provide a mirror for what's going on for you internally. Here's another little exercise that you might want to consider if you really want to go deep into your ego states. For every experience you've had, it's in there, it's in your repertoire, it's in your experience of being a human from the time you were in the womb till right up to date. Now, the experiences, the emotions, the sensations of the body, you may not be conscious of, but they are accessible there. It's interesting what pops up in some memories. It might be from a smell, might be from somebody saying something, might be from an experience of seeing something. So here's the little experiment. You look at photos of yourself at different ages and kind of have a conversation with that little girl or little boy. Now, in inner child work, which is a type of trauma healing therapy, there people often will journal, writing with their non-dominant hand as if they're writing from their inner child. And like if I'm looking at this little picture of me at about age 2.5, it's, where did my light go? Where did my glow go? I used to be so silly and happy and joyful. So I might, and then with my dominant hand, I would write from my wise adult present self with compassion. And I might do the same thing with this little girl who's about 6 years old in this picture. And this teenager who thought she was such a loser on her head. And she would talk to me with the non-dominant hand about how painful high school was. She just wanted to shrink. She just painful to go to high school and feel so ugly